Hello and welcome back to Sammy's Witchcrafts. I've got my winter hat on and I've got my lovely warm jumper. We've had a little bit of snow. It's gone now, but yeah, it's been quite cold. But we haven't got any snow now. Just a little bit of drizzle. But if you've got snow where you are, please be careful if you go out driving in it or if you're walking about in it, and wrap up warm. There's nothing worse than going out in the snow and you get cold. But anyway, so what are we making today? Well, we're not actually making anything today, as most people's Christmas trees and that will be up. So I thought people would be getting stuff ready for their table. So I thought today I'll just do a few pieces that people can put on their table, and that's some few ideas that I do when I have my Christmas table. So one of the things I'm going to make is I'm going to make a basic napkin folding, which look really, really pretty. And then what I also do is, when it comes to my table and you've got placemats that you use all year through, you come to place them on your lovely table that you've got all your tablecloth, you've got your plates, you've got your glasses, everything looks lovely, and then you put your placemat down and you think, oh. So what I do is I wrap mine in wrapping paper, and then I have a little theme. They haven't got to be all the same wrapping paper, you can do whatever, but I like to have a little bit of a theme sometimes when I'm doing something like that. And you haven't got to do this for Christmas, you can do it for a special occasion, somebody's birthday, or if you just fancy having a different placemat on your table. So yes, I'm going to give you, just demonstrate in what I do in how I fold them up basically. And then Christmas crackers. No, I'm not going to show you how to make one. I'd love to, but that would take me absolutely ages. But I will do one in the new year, because I'm going to still be doing Christmas decorations during the year, because I don't want to do them too near the end of the year, because then you run out of time in making them. So, but sometimes you buy some Christmas crackers and you get them out, they look brilliant in a box, and then you get them out and they sort of go, oh, is that it? So I like to just jazz mine up a little bit as well. So I'll just show you a few ideas in what you can do just to make it a little bit pretty. Shall we start? I'll just get my bits and pieces together, and then I'll go through each stage of what I've suggested that we're going to be doing today. See you in a bit. Here's the napkins that I'm going to be using. I have got another pack as well, so I might show that one first and then that one. It's beautiful green. Any napkins, doesn't have to be this make. Whatever ones you've bought will just be as brilliant. And then I'm going to show you how to make, if you think, oh no, I've forgotten my napkins, all I've got is kitchen roll. And I'm going to show you how to fold using some kitchen roll as well. So if like you run out, you can even get the children to fold these for you, because they're just so fun to make. It's lovely. I enjoy it. So, yeah, let's get folding. So here's me napkin. Let's just open that. Take one out. Now what I've done is I've cut a strip of card that's just a little bit wider than a napkin. It doesn't matter if it is or if it isn't. It's just so then it's just a bit of a guide from because when I do it just freehand, I end up going diagonal. So I just use a little guide. Now I've measured this out about 1.5 centimeters roughly. So you've got your napkin, unfold it, then with the thing that you've just cut out, you put it to the edge of the napkin. We're now going to be folding backwards and forwards like you would make a fan. So we go over, keeping that piece of cardboard there. So then it just gives you a rough guideline. So it doesn't matter what way this, but I like to, before I start folding, I like to lay them all out, unfold them all in how many I need, and then lay them on top, so then I can then just transfer it onto my workspace, so I know I'm folding them all the same way. So we've done this first part, then you pick it up and you fold back on itself, and using the cardboard underneath, you can then use that as a guide, and then rub across. Now I've got a little crease in that there, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be sitting on your lap anyway. And then you fold over again, pushing that card to the edge, so then they're all roughly the same. So you do that until you get to this line here. So I'm just going to go backwards and forwards, flipping it over, flip. When it comes to this side, I then give it a bit of a push down just to get that crease in that. If you're using material napkins and you want a real crisp line in them, you could always stand and iron over them, but paper ones tend to just crease very nicely. So then I've turned it over, and then I'm going to fold over again. Just give it a bit of push down and then fold back over. Should be able to see the creases that we're making. Flip it over and fold back. Give it a run over and fold over. Now I'm to the middle now, but I'm going to go over and do it again. It's not very straight, but it'll be straighter than how I would normally do it. So if it is a little bit offline, just sort of straighten it up the best you can. Fold it over. Now what I do here is I then sort of take a piece of cardboard out and I sort of roughly fold over just to see if, now I could do another one. I can fold over another one. So I fold over again. Now once you're happy and you're where you think, yeah, that's I like that, you then have to turn and make sure that you've got, if I have it the other way, it can lift up. So to know that I'm on the correct side, it's flat. Now the reason for that is because when you now do the next fold, which we're going to do now, and I'll show you, you fold over. And then once you've folded and put a crease in it, you then fold so like you've got an angle. Now if you fold it the other way, I will undo this and I will fold it the other way. If I fold it that way, you can see straight away that if I go over like that, I'm not going to be able to open the fan. So you have to make sure that when you fold, because the bit at the top when you fold it over like so, that catches the top, so now the rest of the fan of the napkin will come undone. So we'll put a real nice crease in there, turn over again and fold up. And then you will get, looks like a little boat like that. So then what we do is we now undo the fan, and see in the top there where we folded at the top, so I have to get it as close as you can. It then holds the fan in place and stands, because you've got like this little bit here that you folded over, and that's how then it stands up. But if I hold that there, and then that is what you will get. So that is a basic fan napkin fold. And when they're on the table, they do look very, very, very effective. So that is your napkin. So I'll show you with a different colour napkin. I have to say, these napkins by this company are brilliant. They are really lovely quality and they fold just amazingly. So we'll do a very quick one again using a different colour napkin. Get my strip of card, line up the best as I can and crease. Flip over and fold back on yourself. Flip over, fold back on yourself. Flip over, fold back on yourself. Flip and fold. Flip and fold. Flip and fold. I'm getting fluff from my placemat. Flip and fold. Flip and fold. We're up to the middle now. I'm going to go just past it with a couple. There we go. I think if I do another one, it'll make that too short. So pull out your strip of card and remember to flip it so then it just looks like a flat napkin now. Turn it to one side, fold. If it's a bit hard in the middle, just put your finger there and then just ease it over. And remember, try and get this top bit here as close to there as possible. Fold it over, get a nice crease in there. That's going to join that at the top there. Fold it over to make it like a little foot really, so it can stand up. Then undo the fan, stand it up. If you're finding it keeps tilting to one side, lay it back the other way and then just crease your finger over just to put the crease on both sides, and then it should stand up lovely. But the angle of the camera, I'm afraid I can't, but that's what it will look like. If you keep going backwards and forwards, you could always sit that in a glass. That looks nice. So if we undo that and we undo that and we carry on going to the end, and you don't want it to be on your placemat, but you want it to stand in the glass, you can then just squeeze it all together and then just dip it, and then you can fan it out on the top of the glass. So now, if you haven't got any napkins, and they can be whatever size you want them to be, as long as you, with these ones, but when it comes to using a kitchen roll, I do it slightly different. So I have two, don't know if you can see that very well, I've not split, I've just got two pieces of kitchen roll. Now it's going to be a little bit wider. You can fold it over like it is on the other one, but I just found that made it too small and I liked it big. So with your piece of card, like I say, you haven't got to use this bit of card, I just use it, just helps me out more than anything. And all you do is you just fold backwards and forwards. I've got extra large kitchen rolls, and that's why it's so big. So just go backwards and forwards, flip, fold, flip and fold, flip and fold, flip and fold, I'll take the piece of card out. So it all depends on how wide you want this bit here. You can have them a little bit wider if you want them wider. And then don't fold this way, because if you fold that way, you're not going to be able to fan open the kitchen roll. So make sure that it's on the flat side and the bits that have been folded are on the bottom. Give it a push down. Fold using your finger to find the centre. Meet the ends at the top. Run your finger along the bottom and get in as closely as you can. And fold over the other side. And then open it up slowly. See, that's going to one side, so I then just fold it over the other side, press it down. You may have to sort of like play about it a little bit, but this is really big. Now to wrap my placemats that I'm going to be wrapping, my Christmas paper that I ordered hasn't arrived, so I'm wanting to get this video out before, and I thought it'd be here, but it's not, so I'm having to use, which would still work because it's still got silver in it and still would look pretty, but I just wanted to just do a demonstration on it, just so you could see the thinness. But I will also be making another placemat that you haven't got to use wrapping paper. You can use other things as well. And what I've got here is I've got a selection of wallpaper. So I'll be showing you how to do that as well. So I've just got some old cuttings that I picked up when I was trying to decide what room to wallpaper. But I also use wallpaper to do covering when I'm doing book folding. So I'm going to show it with wrapping paper, and I'm going to also show you with the wallpaper as well. So it does look really pretty, and then when you lay them all out onto the table, it does make a difference, because you've got, like I say, you've got this lovely table with all the crackers and all the other bits and pieces on the table. Then you look down and you've got like a placemat that's got great big, I've got ones that have got great big poppies on them, and they look okay, but yeah, I like it to match. So I'm going to now show you how I fold them and make them all nice, and so they don't all wobble about on the table. Also, the nice idea about wrapping your placemats when you're doing this is if you haven't got enough placemats, I mean, like, you could have like a set of 6, but you need like a set of 12. Or you might just need a set of 8 or something like that. This time of year, when we're all buying gifts and bits and pieces for our loved ones and our friends, always keep your Amazon, because these are a lovely size to make, and if they're too big, you can always cut it to the size of the other placemats, so then they all match, if you want it to match. But yeah, don't throw these away this time of the year, because they really are handy. You just literally just sellotape the flap down, and then you can just wrap that up. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be wrapping one of them up in the one of the Christmas papers. What I do is I wrap up little scratch cards without anybody knowing. I lay them underneath the placemats, And because nobody knows that they're there, when dinner's all done and sorted and we're all just sitting there, just as a little extra thing to sort of do around the table, is I wrap them up and I place them underneath the placemat. Make sure I've got a few coins that are handy, so then because everybody gets excited. So, you know, just something silly to do around the Christmas table. Let's get wrapping. This is our placemat that we're now going to cover. It measures out roughly 12 inches or 30 centimetres. And then the other way measures out 9 inches or 23 centimetres. So then I unroll a piece of wrapping paper, place it on the top, and I measure roughly 2 inches from the edge of the paper from this side. And then I'm going to roughly, if I can find my pencil, measure out another 2 inches the other side. And just doesn't matter if it's a little bit too big, it's better being too big than too small. Then I'm going to cut now. I'm hoping with the size of the wrapping paper that I've got, I should be able to wrap 2 of those up. So just twist that round, and I'm gonna roughly measure out 2 inches there. Doesn't matter if it's a bit wider. As you can cut off, you can't add on. And I just cut roughly. As long as it's wide around the edges, it's fine. So I'm going to turn that over. Now I want it all to be the same way. So if you've got a pattern piece of wrapping paper, just remember that if you want it to all be facing the same way, to cut them all out first and checking each time that they are laying all the same way. But if it's a plain piece of wrapping paper, it doesn't matter. What I do is now is I get my ruler and not right up to the edge of that corner, just back it away just a little bit, and then I draw a line. Now if the paper's thin enough, you can just straight away just put a tear in it, and then I cut. But if it's thicker paper, then you may need to just draw a line. So just roughly, hasn't got to be perfect. I'm just away from that corner. Put your pencil in, give it a bit of a dig, and then hopefully that will then pull away like that. So now, before I turn it round, I'm going to get my sellotape, and I'm going to just pull, making sure that my lines are quite straight, I've not chosen the easiest of paper, but it doesn't matter. It's just to give you an idea. And then just sellotape that piece of paper in place. So then when you turn it, you know you're not going to be moving it and lose you where you are with it. So then again, just draw a little diagonal line, just a little way from the corner. And this paper's so easy, I can just put, and I always make sure that I've got a spare roll of this in case we have any spillages. But it doesn't matter, because once you've had your dinner, it's just to look nice. But these lasted me, when I used to do them for my dinner table, they used to just last for days. So there. Fold that up. Get a piece of sellotape. Now if your backs of your placemats are cork, you may need to lay a few strips of sellotape down, as it can sometimes not stick very well. And then all you do is you turn your placemat round, and then you just piece of sellotape. I tend to do it on the diagonal bits. If I feel it's a bit too baggy, then we'll go around and, but it's only just to make it look pretty for the day. And then fold that one up. It doesn't matter what it looks like underneath. No one's going to be seeing that unless they lift it up and have a look. It doesn't matter. And there we have it. Doesn't that look lovely? And then you do the same with your coaster. You measure your coaster. Roughly measure it. Maybe like an inch around the edge. As long as it can fold over the edge of the mat, it'll be fine. You haven't got to measure if you don't want to. Turn that over. Get your ruler. Or if you find cutting it and wrapping it a different way, let me know. But this is how I've always done it. No, it's easy when you use a thin piece of paper. These are so quick, these ones, because they're just so small. So if you've got like offcuts of Christmas paper, you think, oh, what can I do with those? They're not big enough for wrapping something. You can also do, if you have placemats that you have in the middle of your table as well, for when you have all your, if you put your pots and everything in the middle of the table, you can have them all matching as well. And if it's a little bit too big on the side, it's fine. You can either give it another little trim, or like this one here, I'm going to just fold it and it'll fold. So there you have it. You have your placemat and your coaster all matching nicely. And then on top of that, you can then place, if you haven't got any placemats, if you collect enough of these, even if they're not the same, it doesn't matter. So you sellotape down the flap, or you can cut the flap off. So now I'm going to use this lovely sparkly wallpaper. I got this when I was like I said earlier, I got this when I was trying to find, like, you can go and get 3 pieces of wallpaper. So I thought, oh, I could demonstrate with that. So yet again, you just roughly work out the size, and if you want to do like 2 inches, 3 inches, I'm going to just do this one as an inch either side. I'm not going to bother measuring it. I'm going to just literally and the nice thing about this paper is it's got no pattern on it, so making sure that got it a reasonable size. Just going to cut around that edge there. This is just showing you, I'm not going to make a coaster with this one. So yet again, because this is now a little bit thicker, I'm not going to be able to run that pencil through the paper. So I'm going to just mark out a line there and then give it a cut. Try not to move the piece of card. And do the same this side. Just like so. Just so I can get the pencil past the corner. Holding that down so I'm not moving the piece of paper underneath it. That hasn't got to be straight lines. And then fold over. This is quite thick paper, so get your sellotape and then sellotape in places. Now you may find, as it happened a few years ago, there was a certain Christmas paper that came out with, it was beautiful. I even bought it, but there was a Christmas paper that came that had all reindeers or something. It was white with reindeers on it. But whatever they used on the main print of the paper, the sellotape just wasn't sticking to it. So you may find that some sellotapes might not stick to some papers. So I give a little push down just so it's at the edge with this one, because it is a little bit thicker paper. Just draw a couple of more lines here. And one more line here. And then just there you go. And then just fold. But what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to put a piece of sellotape along that bit there because it is starting to come up there. So just pull that tight. This is lovely paper. Just be a bit careful if you are using wallpaper. If it does get wet, if it's got a backing on it for like a self adhesive on it, it may, if it gets wet, it may get a little bit slimy. But if you don't spill anything on it, it should be fine. And then sellotape that. Growing up, I used to do all my mum's wrapping paper. I got to the age of about 14 and I love it that much that she used to say, right, here's all the presents, you wrap them up. So the only ones that she had to wrap up were mine. I used to be sitting there for hours. But then I'd put Christmas music on, just sit there, or put a Christmas film on. But I loved it. I just loved sitting there listening to the music. So that's that done. It is coming away a little bit, so I'm going to just sellotape it there. Just be a little bit aware that it could. But this is lovely. Look at that. Wow. That's well sparkly. Love it. And you wouldn't think that that wasn't a placemat. So you don't have to go and spend loads out on buying fancy placemats when you can just go and buy some cheap wallpaper, or if you've got any wallpaper left from what you've done before, it's brilliant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to cover a round placemat. Now I don't happen to have a round placemat, so I'm going to make one. I'm going to use a smaller plate, but it's just to give you an idea in how now yet again I've used one of these envelope type cardboard packaging that you get from Amazon, which are really handy, especially this time of year, because you can make so many different things out of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this circle out. But yet again, it's, if you think, oh, I don't want to just have square or rectangle placemat, I want round ones, or I want hexagon ones, or something like that. Even a star one if you want to be really creative. So there's our circle. Now if I was using this as a proper placemat, I would actually sellotape or glue the two pieces together. But because I'm just doing a little demonstration, I'm only going to just use one, or you can use, I would just like them a little bit thicker, just so that, especially if you're putting any like hot plates on them, you want that a little bit more of a protection. If you're going to be putting big pots on it, I'd use quite a thick piece of cardboard. So got my circle, and now what I'm going to do is, right, now I've got a spare bit of Christmas paper here, so I'm going to roughly draw round the edge. I have got a bigger plate, but the bigger plate's a bit too big, so but just so I can get a circle sort of roughly that sort of shape, draw it the best as I can, and then this little bit here doesn't really matter, it's still wide enough to flip over. So I've used a bigger plate, and then just use my glass case to hold it down, move that, and then I'm going to just cut out my circle if it lets me. I'm just going to do it roughly. Now this one is a patterned piece of paper, so I'm making sure that I'm not going to make it too uneven. So I'm just roughly just cutting around the edge because it's much wider than the circle that I was using. So now that, and then we put that piece in there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sellotape this in place. As it keeps rolling up on me, so make sure it's flat. Lovely. Then I'm going to go round the edge, and I'm going to just cut. I haven't got to measure out, so it's a bit thin this side, but it's going to be fine. Cut to the edge of the piece of cardboard. Then once you've cut all around the edge, you then just literally sellotape them down. But as you're doing it, overlap it. And if you want, you can overlap a couple of pieces and sellotape down. If you find that as you go, you just might need to just bring it up and fold it over onto the circle. Might need to just put a little crease in it like I have that one, but you'll only need to do that a couple of times. Pulling it into the middle, do a couple there. Now, because my sellotape dispenser is not very heavy, my other one broke, so I have to use two hands to, there we go. So then just make sure that it's tight along that edge. See, this bit here is a little bit, so I'm going to just pull it forward and then just pull the one next to it over the top of it. Pull that up. Halfway round. I'm just going to pull a few of these off and stick them on my thing that I've got standing here. Pull them up tight. See, look, it's lifted there, so you just literally run your finger out and press down. You can do smaller cuts along the edge, but this is working out perfect. Right, so this bit here needs just folding up and tucking over. A few more left. Fold it over and sellotape. Fold it up, press down. See, this one here could do with a little bit of a cut to make it a little bit easier. There we go. Couple more. Tape it down. Last one. Pulling it tight. Now if you go around and you think, oh, that bit's sticking up, just get your tape and just go around. But there you have a round placemat. I like that. That's well cool. That's really, really pretty. But you couldn't, like I said, I would have used like really Christmassy paper, but it didn't turn up in time. But I managed to do one. But I love this one. Love that. So there's your placemats. So what do we need for our Christmas cracker? Now I've just basically just picked up a couple of bits that I've got, that I've collected over the year. I mean, if I ever get a gift that's got ribbon on it, I always keep it. I keep everything. But I've got some tinsel, some spare tinsel, and I've also got, I got a gift, and it was wrapped in this lovely ribbon. Now the nice thing about this ribbon is it's got a little bit of wire in it, so you can shape it a little bit better. But if you haven't got any of these, you just use, you can get some, just any pieces of material, just as long as you sort of can tighten them into a bow, then it'll just look lovely. Or you can even make little pom-poms, like we did in the last video. You can make some pom-poms a little bit bigger than that one we made, and then you can attach those to a piece of string or another piece of wool, and then tie that round. That's quite, I quite like that idea. Didn't think of that before, but yeah, I might give that one a go. When I've got Christmas crackers that I know that I can undo them, and sometimes the things inside are really not suitable for children and some adults. And what I do is I'll buy a couple of little silly things, little joke things, and I'll open it up and I'll roll that up and put it in there. It's just something fun to do. Now we've made the other two things, the napkin's folded and our placemats are all covered. It's now time to try and jazz up the Christmas crackers. I mean, they are pretty. I tie them. I think they need a little bit of jazzing up, just to look nice on the table. So now we're on to the Christmas crackers. They're lovely, but they need a little bit of character, and it doesn't take a lot to change these. Like I said, you can just literally get some. I've got this is lovely, and all I do is I just literally add it to the cracker. So then it sort of puts it into a bit of a better shape. So I'll go round and I pinch where I think, right, okay. And with tinsel like this, it tends to have a little bit of wire. So I go round and measure it up. Just a little bit, I sort of do a finger's width of added to it. And then I snip it. Does become a bit messy though. And then I just literally just add a bit of tinsel. Now if it's got the wire in it, you can just twist the end round. And if you think, oh, I've not done it long enough, then you can just add a little bit of sellotape. So I've added that side, and then I'm going to just do this side. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do, measure it there, and then do sort of a finger width. Put it into the middle, and then just twist it. And twist. And then just reshape your cracker. And that's all I do. And then if I've got some sticky gems or something, I might add a few sticky gems, but these decorations are pretty glitzy anyway, so I don't think it needs any more. But just adding that, it just gives the cracker a little bit of a better shape. Or yet again, you can, I keep this, if it's too long, I just give it a bit of a snip, but because it's holding it all together, it saves you then having to try and tie it. But like I said earlier, sometimes I'll undo these, and then I'll add my own little gifts inside them. Right, so I'm going to measure it 2 lengths of the cracker. Yeah. And we just do bow. Now I do my bows in a couple of ways. I do it the one where you got the loop, wrap round, pull through, and you've got your bow. I do mine slightly different to that. Oh, there's glitter everywhere. I get my loop like so. I then make another loop the other side. Make it quite long. So I've got 2 loops. I wrap it the right side over the left. Then you've got a gap here. Then with the loop that's underneath, push that through and pull. Those are really fiddly things. And then you just pull, and then you just literally got a couple of wires sticking out here. So if you have got children and you are using bows that have got wire in them, just make sure that they don't stick it in their finger. Then I twist that bit round now, and then I cut it the same length. And then you just, so I do 2 lengths of the cracker. I've got a lot of vacuuming to do. I've got glitter absolutely everywhere. So I've cut that to its length. go as slow as I can. So try and even them out as best as you can. I put a little knot in first, just so then I know that the bow is secure in where it's supposed to be, keeping sort of an eye on the, and then do one loop, open up the other one with the loop. I've done them quite long, so it's then a little bit easier to. So the right one goes over the top one, and then I push this one through that hole where my finger is. Bring that over, and then just pull, and then you can just adjust the bow. And if you want, you can try and, if you spend a bit of time, you can really get them looking lovely. And the nice thing about being wiry is they can mould round things as well. So just, and there you have. So going from that cracker that was quite plain, like this one, just by adding a little bit of tinsel or some bows. And if you really want to get crafty, you could always get like a nice little label in the middle, and then write then the person's name whose table setting it is for. So like with this, I've got some more of this one, and I've got like a bright red one. But putting that round that, if you had like red tinsel, or even this tinsel, because it sort of goes to the colour, that just looks, it just looks so much, I think it just looks so much nicer. So that's how I make my table look a little bit glitzy. Also, what I like to do is, if I know I've got children that are going to be, and this also is for adults as well, I buy a selection of plastic musical instruments. So yet again, once the dinner's over and sort of like everyone's getting a bit, but you don't want to leave the table just yet, you know, Christmas Day just goes so fast. So I wrap all these little instruments up, and then I shake the bag and I say to everyone, right, and I get them to choose a little gift from out the bag, and then that's their instrument. And then we then play either a song all together, or we play Guess the Tune, which sometimes can be quite funny, because someone who isn't very musical, and the music's in their head, but trying to get that out into the little musical instrument that you're playing can be quite funny. So that's just a little suggestion that you could do around the Christmas table, just to add more excitement to the day. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that. It was really, really fun. If you could see the mess that's around me. Because I'm having to sort of like not keep getting up and do this, and I've got everything around me, so then it's in reaching distance, but I'm like in a nest of Christmas paper and tinsel, and I've got glitter absolutely everywhere from that ribbon. But I hope you enjoyed that. So there's the placemat. That's one of the placemats. I don't know what I've done with the actual coaster that goes with it. It's amongst all this, yeah, next to me. So there's me round table mat. So that come out really well, actually. I'm quite pleased with that. And then, oh, I love this paper. That's just so, it's just so sparkly. So then if I have that, and then I can have the Christmas, it matches the the paper on the placemat. You know, it's just also like, wow. And I've just used what I've got around in my loft. I've not gone up. The only thing I did buy was I bought some Christmas paper, but that's just purely because I need to wrap a few Christmas presents up. But I'm sure that the majority of people have got loads of Christmas paper everywhere. Just putting that Christmas paper on those placemats just changes the whole look of the Christmas table, I think. And it just looks lovely. But then, like I said earlier, if you sort of like then want to put little gifts underneath it, like a little scratch card or something, it's just something just to have something to do after you've had your dinner, rather than just sort of sitting there and, right, what do we do? Oh, washing up. It's your turn. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope if you do think, oh, I like that idea, let me know in the comments below, because I love reading what you've been making. And in the new year, what I'd like to do is any of the crafts that I've demonstrated on my channel, I will put up, not this time, I'm going to do it in the new year. I'm going to put in my description below an email address, and then people can send me the things that they've made, and then I can put them in a little video with their name on them and what they've made, like a little picture or something. But that's for in the new year, so I look forward to doing that, because I want to see what people are making that I've shown them. So I'm so excited, and I've been asked to do a few other crafts which I've been practicing. So in the new year, and I've bought a couple of new craft tools that even though I can do it all by cutting it all out, I've got a couple of new things, that like some new die cutters and things like that, because I will be showing them my die cutting machine in the new year, and how I use my Cricut machine, and some of the things that I make, like when I make some of the birthday card or something like that, that's what I use. I use my Cricut, and then I cut bits and pieces out. But I've been buying from Temu. Don't tell JB. No, he knows. And so what I might do is my next video is show people what I've bought and what I think of it. I'm not sponsored in any way or anything like that. It's all out of my own pocket. It's all my own money. And just to give some ideas. And because you see these things on Temu and that, and you think, oh, is it any good? It's basically craft things that I've bought. I think I've bought some die cutters. I think I've bought a couple of needle felting things on there as well. So when we go away in the van next, I might do some little videos in just some of the things that I've bought to make. And yet again, I haven't started it yet, because I've been wanting to do other things before I start doing that. But one of my projects is I'm going to start that Tree of Life, which that will definitely be coming with me in the motorhome when we go on our travels again. So, but oh dear. Oh, is it snowing yet? No. Shame. I love snow. I love the cold weather. I really do. I love warm weather. But if I had a choice, cold weather, hot weather, I'm always cold. Even though I do feel the cold very easily. I do love it, but you've got to dress properly. If you have the right clothing on, you won't get cold. It's when you get the wrong clothing on, that's when you become cold. So anyway, that's for a different video completely. It's nothing to do with my channel. So that's it, I think, for today. Tell me, which craft shall we do next? I'll have to have another little think in what I can do. Hopefully I won't leave it so long, but I've had lots of things going on just of late. My poor nanny, bless her. central heating wasn't working very well, so that's sort of had to be sorted. So we've got that, well, sort of sorted. But yeah, I just need to, if you could see what it's like in here, it's just, JP's not allowed down here. Because he'd come down, he'd walk in and he'd go and walk straight back out. But it's my stuff in my space. I've still got stuff that I need to, that when we come back from the van, I've still got all that in there, all to sort out. But like I said, I've had other things that I've needed to do. Plus my back went again, didn't it? But that's, I'm all right now. I'm sitting in the correct position. But I'm just so pleased with these bits and pieces that I've made. They look really, really good. Anyway, I could sit here and waffle on all day. I know people have said to me, oh, can I read a book? What if I wasn't dyslexic? But I'm dyslexic, so I do find that a little bit difficult to sit and read a book. I read a page and I'm like, turn it over, and I'm like, oh, I can't remember what it said on the other page again, so I have to go back. So I listen to audiobooks, it's much easier. Anyway, I'm gonna love and leave you all. So let me know if you do any of these things that I've shown you today, and tell me some of the things that you've got planned for your Christmas, like round your table at Christmas, because I love new ideas. I've got a few other ideas that I might share with you. Well, you take care. Wrap up warm if it snows. And I'll see you on the next video. Love to you all. Take care. Bye.